Rangers of Shadowdeep by Joseph A. McCullough. We are on part 2 of part 1 of mission 1, The Missing. Turns out the Ranger organization, whatever it's called, Door Kickers International, they sent a Bard apparently to do a barbarian's work. This fellow named Aventine went to investigate the nameless village where everybody had gone missing and never showed up again. So they got smart, they sent out the big guns. And check out the guns on this guy. Thundar is the Rangers' A-team. You send this guy in first, man. Lead with your best pitch. And that's what we're doing here. Thundar actually had a bit of a rough go. He was tearing everything up, and then a building fell on his head and kind of beat him up pretty bad. So he's hurting, but I think we can compensate for that. Let's look at the scenario again real quick. The deserted village. We're playing on a table that's a little too small. It's only 2 feet north to south. Should be 3. That's okay. It makes it harder in a way because the monsters have a shorter path to get to you. There's the building that fell on Thundar's head. There's his sidekick He-Man going to get the last clue on the table. Oh my goodness, what's going on down here? We'll look at that in a second. We got some zombies. We got coming on the board. We've got Ukla the Mock. He's about to get bit up by a giant beetle over there, and there's some more giant rats coming at him. That's kind of where things stand right now, and let's zoom in here on poor Princess Ariel. Yeah, she is in trouble in the first half of this scenario. She is getting double-teamed by, I know it looks like a scorpion here in the foreground. That's actually just a giant beetle. He's not poisonous or anything like that. And a zombie with a meat cleaver. Oh, man, the village butcher got turned into a zombie, and he's going for a whole different kind of meat. He's butchering some long pig today. We're going to start with turn number 5, and as always, we will start with the Ranger activation. On our Ranger activation, we can activate 2 of our companions. We are going to start with Ariel. I zoom back out. You can see Ukla is way too far away to help her out, and then we've got another zombie who looks like he's ready to join in the fight down here. Ariel is not a fighter. She is classed in Rangers of Shadowdeep terms as a conjurer, meaning she has a couple of tricks up her sleeve, including a little trick called teleport. Kabong! She's going to use that right now to move 9 inches in any direction, ignoring terrain, and then she has a second activation that she will use to move an additional 3 feet. And that puts her all the way back at the center of the village by this dead tree. Full 12 inches. You can use that to escape from combat. That's her full turn. Giddy up. Now, the other question we have over here is with Ukla. I think we're going to go... What do we want to do with him? Who's our other companion we want to use? Oh, and by feet, I mean inches. Ariel moved an additional 3 inches for a second. That's her way over here. And we need to get our Ranger Barbarian close to Ariel so she can heal him up. That's one of her other spells. So we are going to go ahead and move him 2 inches. That's going to cost an extra inch. That's 3 inches to get up to here. And then trying to get to her as fast as possible and maybe draw these rats out. We're going to go ahead and move him another 3 inches. So that's 6. That is his first movement. And then another 3 inches will put him right down here on the road. And that puts him close enough to this rat that the rat will jump on him and leave Ariel alone. I think we can beat a simple rat. We need to move Ukla. Now, Ukla is going to move 1.5 inches to get into the stream. Another 1.5 inches to get out of the stream. That costs him 3 inches of movement altogether. And then he's got 3 more inches on his first move. And if we do a double move, the wall here, let me move these trees out of the way. The way we do forests is to just use templates. And so you can see him through there. And we just kind of move the trees out of the way as we need to. It's classed as rough ground. He has an additional 3 inches of movement. So we're going to run him over to there. And we will call it good for him. A lot of moving, not a lot of fighting. But we're trying to reposition our forces. They ran off, did their investigation. And now we really need to get them back to doing some like mutual support. You know, you need the support of your friends if you're going to be successful in any endeavor. The creature phase goes, and any creature that cannot see an enemy will advance towards the last remaining clue. You can see these 2 zombies are staggering forward. These rats and this beetle are headed for Ukla. Those rats actually were in the back corner. They moved 6 inches, noticed Ukla with their second move. They've moved towards him and they've gotten into the stream, so that will slow them down. This zombie could see Ukla. He started moving towards Ukla, and then for his second action went, oh, there's fresh meat a little bit closer, and is creeping up on Ariel. So we got to talk about these 2 combats over here, because both these giant rats and all 3 of these enemies that are jumping on top of He-Man are going to get to do some battles. Hey, look at that. We can capture both of these fights in the same shot. We're going to start with the easy one, 1v1. The red die is our Ranger Barbarian. He rolls a 16, and the rats have an armor that's fairly low. He only needs to do 1 point of damage. Those rats are out of the game. That's another couple of experience points for our leader. Now we got to deal with this combat, and that one is going to be a little more complicated. And now that I look at it, I did this wrong. You're supposed to do one figure at a time. Meaning, these two enemies have not engaged with He-Man yet. We have to roll He-Man fighting the zombie. He-Man rolls a 7, the zombie rolls a 3. Now, He-Man is a pretty stud warrior bro. In fact, you might even consider him like a warrior prince. He has a fight plus, where is it? Fight plus 4. So that tally of 11 is not going to be enough to overcome the armor of the zombie. The zombie takes no damage. All right, that's fine. Then the next nearest will be the beetle, who fights as a giant rat. And once again, the red die is for the hero. The hero rolls a 19 versus a 7 for the giant rat. A 19 means the giant beetle will die. I keep using rat and beetle. And then but the beetle is at plus 2. So that would be 19 to 11, which is still a win. And then the second rat token moves up, and again our red die is going to be at plus 4. The rat is going to score a total of 10 plus 2 because he's got the zombie helping him out for 12. So this time the rat wins, and the one thing our barbarians do not have going for them is armor. He-Man only has an armor of 11. He does have a shield, see, just as you see on the figure. So the result of a 12 minus 11 means He-Man takes 1 point of health damage. And worse than that, he has to pass a toughness 8 health check. And I don't know if that's a strength check or not. But with a 14, he passes, so he will not be diseased. I don't think I did that yesterday. I know I made a number of mistakes in yesterday's fight. The double team will continue. I know I made a bunch of mistakes in yesterday's video. I caught some of them. If I missed any, tell me in the description. Again, here, I got a comment section. Let me know so we can get it right. But that is now the end of the creature phase, and we have our last hero to go, and that is going to be our Barbarian Prince. Now gets to attack with his fight plus, what is it? Fight plus 4, and he's going to go after let's go after the rats, because we want to get rid of that being outnumbered. So the rat scores a 14, raggy, and our barbarian scores a 14 for a tie. Nobody wins. They stay locked in combat for another turn. Battling for his life over there, isn't he? That is going to be the end of turn number 5. Last thing we do is the event phase. 1 rat comes on the board at a random corner to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We get a 6. The rat's going to come in right where we want him, way down low. And then we have to draw a card and check our event deck. Ace of Hearts. And with that card, 4 additional zombies. 1, 2, 3, 4 enter the playing field. Turn 5 is over. We move on to turn number 6. And that means the big boy and 2 of his companions are going to activate. We're going to start with Touchdown Ariel. She can move 6 inches to here. Her healing spell has a range of 6 inches, and that's going to be her second action. Boing! We can erase 5 damage off of good old Thundar. That takes him back up to 11 health, and we'll just shake the camera a little bit as we do that erase. So Thundar, up to 11 health, now has the opportunity to, what do we want to do here? We could probably run up here and help out good old He-Man. We are close enough, I think, to those giant rats. Yeah, well, remember, it's 1.5 inches to get to the top. Is he within 4.5 inches? I think he is. So we're going to jam these guys up, and then he's going to make that attack on the giant rats. Thanks for the cherry picking. But with a result of a 20, that's what that weird symbol means, the rat goes bye-bye. And then we can still move. Now, it would be nice to move He-Man, but I think instead we need to get Ukla the Mock out of there. Because Ukla is not close enough to reach this zombie, we're going to move him in support. This is 2 moves altogether. Touchdown Ukla is going to stand and guard Princess Ariel's back. He's going to draw that zombie and the beetle. He only moved 8 inches, so he's going to be doing some fighting here in just a moment. In fact, why don't we go ahead and do that right now? Since it is the creature phase, we can bring this enemy into contact with Ukla. Ukla has a fight score of 4, and he rolls a 20 versus a 4. Ukla knocks out that beetle. Then we'll move. I don't know if we're supposed to move these creatures in any particular order. The zombie here is 4 inches away. 1, 2, 3, 4. The zombie will have to use his second action to tie up Ukla. And I think that's it for the combats on that side. I've moved all of the zombies. They are closing in on all of our heroes. The last one to be moved is this guy here. And he has just enough movement to get to the top of the hill and help out. But because we have kind of a 2-on-2 situation, Thundar is going to negate this zombie, and He-Man is going to be responsible for fighting just this one zombie here. Rolling the dice as usual. He-Man gets a whopping 21 points, and that is going to do more than you subtract out the 12 for the zombie, and this zombie is still going to go down. Good job, He-Man. And that is the end of the creature phase, which means He-Man can use his first action to fight this zombie. And he is going to be rolling a 20 versus a 19. He-Man wins with a score of... Now, that is a critical hit. So he will do +5 damage on the 20. That's what that weird symbol is. But it doesn't matter, because when he rolls a 20, you subtract out the 12, and that zombie is going to go down hard a second time. So He-Man, making up for lost ground, that is his second and third zombie that he's killed. And now he can use his last action to move 3 inches. We're really hoping to get, and he's just short. Oh, boo. If we measure it, I probably need to get one of those fancy little, well, I don't know. That's pretty close, isn't it? You know what? We can get it on the next turn. It's only turn 6. That's going to be the end of the companion phase, and we are on to the rat reinforcement phase, or the event phase, if you will. And using the same number as before, we roll a 5. So the rat comes in the worst possible place for the Shadowdeep, but a good place for us here on turn number 6. Then we do need to draw one more card, which provides a good excuse to show the swarms of rats and zombies. They coming around this way, and then they notice Ukla, and they charge in over here. You know, we have one more fight we got to do. Let's see if we can do that with the Steadicam. Ukla is going to roll an 18, a 23. Look at that, 23 versus a 19. Ukla wins, and he is going to do +2 damage. He obliterates this zombie, and we're doing pretty good. Let's find out how good we're doing with our events. A 9 of hearts. With apologies to He-Man, our ranger is going to snipe this clue. He's going to move into contact with it. You know, before he does that, though, we do get to activate 2 of our companions. Move this big ugly deck of cards out of the way. Try to keep it pretty, shall we? And that means moving Ariel 6 inches and then another 3 to here. We're just trying to keep him alive for 2 more turns. And Ukla, same thing. He's going to slide back to here, and he's going to guard this passage so that we can keep Ariel alive. The 9 of hearts is disease. If anybody hits 0 hit points during this scenario, they have to pass a toughness number 16, or they start the next scenario with disease. We just got to get through a couple of more turns, and we'll be fine. We've moved our companions. We now move into contact with the clue, and to find out what that clue is, we roll a d20, and we get a result of a 6. It is a badly wounded villager. It's the good wife, goody wife. It's a badly wounded villager whom our hero will bandage up her wounds, and if she survives the scenario, we get extra bonus points. It occurs to me, by survive this scenario, does that mean that we should have left that woodsman on the table and had to defend him this whole time? Reading through the rules, it's not entirely clear. It says that you can move off the table unless the scenario says you can't, and you're out of the scenario. But does that mean you survived it? I'm going to rule that it does. So we can now move on to the creature phase. we no longer have a clue marker, which means our enemies who do not have line of sight, note this zombie does have line of sight, this rat does not. The rat will move in a random direction. It will make one move. If it hits the side of the board, it will just stop. I'm going to roll a d12, just to kind of show you how this works. I am going to roll a d12 and use the clock facing. So for the first 6 inches of movement, that rat will move in the direction of a 10. And then it has another move, and it will move in the direction of 2 o'clock. So it's basically going to run up to the wall there and stop. Meanwhile, this guy is going to move straight. Now, he only gets to move 6 inches, and this wall costs an inch to move across. So he will only be able to manage 5 inches of movement towards our heroes. That will put him right there in the cemetery. How appropriate is that, huh? This is the position you want to be in. This zombie here did have a line of sight to Ukla. This collapsed building is treated as rough ground. We'll say you can see across it. So I moved him straight over. He's not going to be able to reach Ukla in time. I think we've got this scenario licked. We can go run over there and blast this zombie on the next turn if we want to in order to score a couple of extra experience points, but I don't think we really want to. All of the zombies over here on the other side of the table, we'll kind of zoom over there and take a look. These zombies and beetles and giant rats, they just kind of wandered around like idiots. They can't see anybody. They don't know where they're going. There's no clues to aim for, so that's kind of where we're at with the table. He-Man and the good wife get to go. She can only move 3 inches, so we'll move her the ½ inch, and then that's 2, and then another ½ inch, and then with her second movement, she will boogie off the table. I think He-Man is going to go ahead and, man, I don't even know what to do. I'm worried about a zombie appearing on the road, so let's move him to protect Ariel. And that's going to be a total of 3. 6 inches will put him right there. And I think we're good with our setup right there. The last thing we have to do is figure out where the rats come on, and we roll a d6. And with a 7, remember this corner is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will be in the southwestern corner. And we will draw card number 7. I think this is card number 7. We should have 10 cards. You know, this is card number 8. I think this is the last card of the game. With a 5 of hearts. All right, sorry, I had to redo the math. Ace through 9 is 9 cards altogether. The 5 of hearts is going to be a giant rat. Place 1 giant rat as near to a hero as it can get while still being in contact with a building. That's going to be attacking Ukla the Mock. And all I have is a beetle. So this giant rat leaps out of the church. And what does it say? Red 5. If more than one hero would qualify, roll randomly. Well, he's the closest to a building, so that's the one we're going to do. And that is now really going to be the end of turn number 7. We have one more turn to get through. And we'll start with, as we always do, the companion phase. Ukla is not afraid of this little rat. He is going to make an attack, and as always, we will use the red die for the hero. I don't have a whole lot of room to roll here. Let's see if we can get away without knocking over an enemy. Well, I snuck it in there, and thanks, Mr. Glare. The 13 becomes a 17. Subtract out the rat's armor of 6. That's 9 points of damage. Big bug goes squish now. One more pair of experience for, what do we got here? Well, that's a total of the 3 rats for Big Ukla. And that is his activation. Now, he can still move, but I don't think we need to. I think we're good right where we are at. The nearest enemies do, well, I guess we got to play it out, don't we? We're going to bring old He-Man over here to protect. And we'll bring Thundar to here, giving ourselves a little more space because this zombie only has a total of 6 inches of movement. It's going to cost him 3 inches, 3.5, 5. He's only going to be able to get that close. And then I guess the sun comes up and our heroes are going to be fine. This zombie over here is going to move 3 inches, 4 inches, and then 5, 6 is again going to be just a little bit shy. Those are the nearest enemies. No other enemies can get in touch. Let's find out what happens on this, our final. We got 2 cards here. And on our final, the final phase, an 8 of hearts will be the final event. And 8 of hearts. Terror, the hero with the lowest will stat must make an immediate will roll or be overcome by fear. If it fails, it may not activate next turn. There is no next turn, so forget it. That is the end of the game. We got to tally up some experience points now, baby. If my record is accurate, we killed 9 rats and 7 zombies. We found all 6 clues. Well, we did not find Aventine's body or his sword. Sorry, bro. Did best we could. But we did find 2 survivors, and they did both survive to the end of the scenario. Maybe we cheated a little bit on that one. I can't quite tell. We did find the tracks, and we did find the mutilated body. All of that tallies up to 110 experience points for Thundar the Barbarian. He is totally going to share because, you know, that's what Chads do. You got to take care of your people, right? One thing I do want to do is fix something. The rats, I think one of the rats might have hurt one of our characters, and I didn't roll for the disease check. I rolled for one of them, but there's another one. So what I want to do is this. To figure out which of our heroes earned the bite, we're going to roll a d12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And with the result of a 12, He-Man takes the bite, and he has to pass a toughness number, I think it's 8, or else he will be diseased on the next scenario. No, we add 13 to that. He has a current health of 13. Toughness number 8 for the giant rat. Is that right? You got to be badly hurt to catch a disease from a rat. Those guys are terrible. Well, I guess there's a reason it only gives you 2 experience points, huh? So He-Man does pass that. The last thing we have to check is Ukla the Mock barged his way into the church, and he found an herb or a potion, so we have to roll a d20 to find out what that is. And with the result of a 12, he finds a potion of strength. Ooh, that kind of makes sense. And a potion of strength, a figure that drinks this potion receives +1 fight. Is that forever? Nope, it is until the end of the scenario. So that is, we didn't find any treasure, no loot, but that's all right. That's just more stuff to track. I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out. Nobody died. We didn't have to roll for any permanent injuries. I like that. Again, you know, we kind of played this on easy level. It's already an easy scenario, but man, what a lot of fun. I think that's about as close as you can get to a solo RPG and still be playing a miniature war game. Looking forward to playing Chapter 2. What is that? The sick trees? The trees of the illin with the trees? I can't remember what it's called. Let me look it up here real quick. So there, is it the infected trees? We're going to have to go after some of Shelob's children on that one. And what could be more appropriate for the Afterschool Specials than fighting giant spiders? You don't have to feel guilty about squashing spiders. I think that's all I got. Let me know what you think. How'd I do? Does this add anything to your understanding or appreciation of the rules? Do you think I should continue with this campaign of Rangers of Shadowdeep? Do you like our kind of tongue-in-cheek version of the Shadowdeep and the Rangers who are... well, our barbarian ranger who is using his son's sword to serve the Lords of Light. Well, we all serve the Lords of Light in our own way. At least we try to. At least here in the channel, there is only one Lord, and he is the Lord of Light. That's who we serve. And in order to do that, I fight for you. I'm fighting a spiritual battle. I'm praying for you. Hope you'll do the same for me, guys. See you next time.